all over the world. They even coined the term. You know what I mean? Black people, you run around and scared to do something wrong, and Hispanic, because they think they go to hell after, which we're going to clear that topic up in another episode, but they scared of the afterlife. And Esau, the so-called white man, what is it? Where have he taught us in all of these universities, but you only live once? And if you find some esoteric-minded Edomites that talk about karma, that's because they've been influenced by the Eastern cultures. But Esau, in and of himself, the so-called white man, he's a guy that tells you, you only live once, man. You're supposed to live for the moment. Enjoy life. So that's what he's saying here. Where are you at now?
Verse 33.
Verse 33. Go ahead.
And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him. And he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils. And he did eat and drink. So in other words, the deal was done. They agreed upon it. Jacob gave him his food. So Jacob went on and gave Esau his food. Go ahead. And rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
Now, let's do something. It says Esau despised his birthright. Brother, could you get the dictionary and look up the word despise? And let's see, so that we don't have to feed you an understanding, but rather let you see what the word despise means. In other words, this was the concept, or the concept and the principle of how a man acquired the beginning of his life. Right now, they're both under their father's house. And so, when he made this transaction with his brother, he held, in other words, his own birthright, his own future in this day. Read that. You have it?
Yes.
Despise.
Despise. To regard with contempt.
Listen to this. To regard with contempt. Go ahead.
Distaste.
Distaste, in other words, his birthright, the means of his future, the means of his sustenance, was distasteful to him. He held it in contempt. Go ahead.
Disdain.
Disdain, like I said earlier, to hold and disdain something. Go ahead.
Disgust.
Disgust. In other words, he was disgusted at his birthright. Continue.
Or scorn.
Or scorn. Okay, thank you, brother, for that. So when it says Esau despised his birthright, in other words, that concept of how he was to be provided for, he disdained it. And all for a nice big fat plate of red bloody meat. Okay, so what we're showing you, now let me see this. If the camera person could come back to the pictures again, because I'm going to recap this. Like I said, Genesis chapter 25 verse 25 said, the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment. And I'd like to take this moment to say and bring out, how dare they call the so-called Native Americans red. They're referred to as the red people. There's only two shades, there's only two colors of mankind on earth. You have red, and then you have different shades of brown. You got, obviously, like we're looking at, the beautiful thing about it is pictures do not lie. If I might impose my hand, I'm brown. When I go back to sit down, the sister can get the brother again. He's dark. I'm a dark brown. He's a darker brown than I am. And then when you look up at the person that's to the left of this picture of Bill Clinton, he's a so-called black man. But if you look at him compared to Bill Clinton, he's brown. Now, when you look at the so-called, even let me say this, they refer to the Mexicans as brown people. Like when you have the different nationalist Mexican organizations like La Raza, groups like that, they refer to themselves as brown. They got an organization called the Brown Berets. Well, they are brown. But what are the so-called Mexicans but the conquered Aztecs? In other words, Indians, so to speak. Now, those are our brothers, and I'm not meaning any disrespect, but these are the crude terms that they refer to us as. What were the so-called Mexicans before they were conquered by the so-called white man, the specific family, the Spanish, but Indians? But Esau will tell you, the so-called white man will tell you that the Indians are the red people. So we're just recapping this. It's proof that you can't find anybody else on the world that meet that description. Now we're going to get you some more, because there's more to it than just being red and hairy. Okay? So there's only one people in the world that is that color, and we call them loosely today, we refer to them as Caucasians or white people. Okay, thank you. Where are we going from there, brother?
Genesis chapter 36, verses 1 and 2, and then verses 8 and 9.
Yeah, so Genesis chapter 36, verse 1 verse 2, and then we're going to jump down to verse 8 and 9. The reason we're going to go here is to establish that after having been born and grown up, these two people, Jacob and Esau, today the topic is about Esau, so-called white man. So we're going to show you how this individual had women, fathered children, and grew into becoming a nation. So go ahead and read that, brother. We're starting at the top. Chapter 36, right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom.
These are the generations of Esau, and it's recapping. Who is Edom? In other words, who is red? And that's what we didn't do. I'm sorry. Let me take a moment, because in Genesis chapter 25 and verse 27, it said that he wanted a plate of red pottage. Therefore was his name called Edom. I'm going to take your attention to this. You can check it out on your own. This is a Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary. For the most part, it is a biblical reference that's used to help those of the readers, students of the Bible, archaeologically speaking, anthropologically speaking, and even geographically, to help you understand really the facts of the Bible. Like, for instance, what we're focusing on now is Edom. The term Edom in the scriptures is a Hebrew word that comes from Adawam. It means red. Like if you were to say red in Hebrew, you would say Adawam. Atha Adawam, you're red. Okay? So his name, he was born Ishar, which means wasted away. But when it says red, we'll get into that. The red that's referred to is actually the absence of pigment in the skin that's referred to in the Bible as leprosy. That's what today, if a black woman and a black man gave birth to a little white kid, we would call it an albino. And it would literally be red, and maybe the hair might be yellow independent. You know, that bright fluorescent yellow that can't seem to be dyed or anything. At any rate, the word Edom is a Hebrew word that means red. So when it says, now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom, saying who is red? Go ahead. Verse 2.
Okay.
Chapter 36 and verse 2.
Genesis chapter 36, verse 2. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Adar, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, and Aholabama, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zebulun the Hivite.
Now, when you read all the way down to verses 6, it names all his women. He had a few women, and when you read it, if you understand archaeology and history, the women that he took, the Canaanites, they were black people. Show you how strong like the Most High had told his mother, 2 nations are going to be born. 2 nations are from his children. So the Lord took this one man, and even though he intermingled and married literally all black women, his children, and all the nations still came out red, because the Most High was taking him and making a nation out of him. That condition that nation would have, we'll later on go through that, that's in the topic down the line, is leprosy. But it's covered in chapter 13 and 14 of the book of Leviticus. And then there are different accounts, like in the book of Numbers chapter 12, about Moses' sister and a few other people, Moses' sister Miriam, and a few other people that when the Lord when he punished them, he was displeased with them, he would punish them by taking their color, and it said they would be leprous, white as snow. Now, not white as paper. When it says white as snow, meaning they'd be the complete opposite of what they were before they had the leprosy. But like I said, that topic we're going to cover once we decide to hit leprosy for you.
Verse 8.
Now hit verse 8. I'm going to recap that. So chapter 1, verse 1, chapter 36, verse 1 is telling you this is Esau, who is Edom, and that he married women and he had children. So when it sums it up, go ahead.
Verse 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom.
In other words, he dwelt in a mountainous region that was to the southeast of the land of Israel, that was named Mount Seir, that later on was called after his own name. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites, in Mount Seir.
Now these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. So you'll hear me from here on out referring to these people as Edomites, because after having been in this and having this knowledge for 21 years and been teaching them for this time, I don't even refer to them as white people unless I'm